Welcome back. Today we come to what are probably the pivotal fixtures in our season. Right now we are still just in the playoff places, but we have been struggling to keep the pace in recent weeks. We are taking on 8th place Barnet, who are just below us in the table, and we then have to go away to 2nd place Bromley. Avoid defeat in these games. It looks like we've got a chance of ending the season with a small hope of getting promotion through the playoffs. Lose these games and we've probably got to settle for mid-table mediocrity. Let's see what happens. Yes, welcome back to Dog Turds into Diamonds. We are here turning Dog Turds into Diamonds with AFC Rushden and Diamonds. And yeah, we are still in the playoff places for the Vanarama National League, which you can see on the right hand side. The board are really pleased with. We're a semi-professional team. The aim for the season was to fight against relegation, and we are obviously really overachieving in that regard. So I have to keep telling myself that I'm kind of disappointed that we haven't got the results to keep us up more towards the top of the table. But I have to keep reminding myself we are a semi-professional team. Our budget is tiny compared to the teams that are at the top there. And we have really suffered through the season for the lack of training. We've really struggled to keep our players fit. We've got so many players that every time they play a couple of games now, they need a prolonged period of rest because they are just so fatigued. We're just squeezing every drop out of the players. And well, results since you were last here have not really been going well. Last time you were here, we lost to Dagenham and Redbridge away in the FA Trophy quarter-final. We then went back into league play, and as you can see, in our last 7 league games, we have lost 5 of them. We are really starting to struggle. The first game after Dagenham and Redbridge, we were at home against Havant and Waterlooville. They are in the relegation zone. They are really struggling. You can see here, looking at the stats, it was a total FMing. We missed so many chances in this game. We had so many opportunities. They scored in the 87th minute, an absolute robbery. But again, it's just the way our season seems to have gone now. We responded really well. We went away to Yeovil and got a nice 3-0 win here. James Price, who is now firmly established as our top scorer, he got 2, assisted by Gibbs and Brown. Thomas Hughes got a 3rd goal. They missed a penalty. They did then come back in the second half, but it was too late. We got the 3-0 win, which was very pleasing. And if we look at James Price, I mean, he's having a decent season now. He's got 11 in 21 starts in the league. Very respectable record. He has started to score more regularly. He's still only 20 years old. I think if we can turn professional, he's still got a lot of potential to make himself a very good lower league striker. So he has been one of the few highlights of our recent run. We then went away to Stockport. We were at home against Stockport. They are one of the top teams. I think they're 4th in the table. And have a look at this. Now, it says there that they had far more shots on goal, but I can tell you that the majority of those shots were right at the end of the game when we were just full out attacking, just trying to go for it. Before that, we were much the better team. I gotta say, it does feel like another FM in this game. We had the much better XG, as you can see. We didn't get the goals. Our penalty or our goal was a James Price penalty. We ended the game with 10 men because Ryan Crosdale was injured. We didn't have any more subs left, and that is why they ended up getting a few shots late on. But don't be fooled. We were much the better team here. Defeated again. 2 defeats in 3 when we had really looked the better team. We then had to go away to Gloucester, didn't we? Top of the table, Gloucester, the dominant team. They are going to win the Vanarama National League after winning the Vanarama National League North. No complaints here. We were well beaten. They were well on top from start to finish. They got a goal in the 10th minute. James Price responded with an instant goal from a Thomas Hughes free kick. And it was 1-1 at the break. And it kind of seemed like maybe we could kind of battle out a hard-earned point. But in the second half, they took control. Again, they got a late goal to make it 3-1 when we were kind of really throwing caution to the wind. You can see Blair was really poor in goal. George Ray was really poor. Reeves, who is a new signing, who I will show you in a moment, was poor in this game, as were Waltman and Gibbs. So, yeah, the golfing class between us and them, just far too much. We then were at home against Dartford, who are also in the relegation zone. It was only 3-2, but it should have been a lot more comfortable. We had 21 shots and 1.96 XG, only 5 on target. That was the problem. So many chances, but only the 5 on target. Liam Gibbs got 2 goals here, which was fantastic because he'd only scored 1 all season before that. The non-league Iniesta, he looks a fantastic player, but with only 8 finishing, he's not really a goal scorer. With only 5 tackling, he's not really one to play in the midfield either, unless he's maybe got a defensive midfielder behind him. I think that might be something we're going to look at trying, because, I mean, he is pure class, but he just doesn't give us enough goals. He is our top assister. The jury is out on if he has been a successful signing or not. He is our most highly paid player by a long, long way. But, yeah, I think we'd be worse off without him. Joe Hardy, he got a goal here to make it 3-1 at the time. They got a late goal to give us a little bit of a nervy finish, but we got the win. And the pleasing thing here was that we rotated a number of players with the fatigue issues that we have. So to get the win was nice, but yeah, it was a little bit closer than it should have been. We then went away to Kings Lynn, who are another team struggling in the bottom half of the table. You can probably guess where this is going. Yeah, we were FM'd again. We had 18 shots at goal, only 3 of them on target. They had a 0.75 XG. They scored their winner in the 94th minute. Yeah, that's where we are right now. We are losing games when we play well. We can't keep the ball out of our own net. We don't score enough, and we're finishing the season on an absolutely horrible run. Now, the games we've got left to play, Barnet are right behind us, Bromley are second, Notts County are right up there. The other games, in theory, are kind of winnable. We've really got to pull out all the stops and put some performances together. Because if not, we are going to be sliding into mid-table and going out with a whimper at the end of the season. Now, before we go any further, we have gone past the transfer deadline day for the Vanarama National League. We did bring in a new face. We've bought in Jake Reeves, 32-year-old defensive midfielder. Now, as you can probably imagine, he did have 13 passing when we signed him. That has already gone down to 12, and he's only played 4 games. But outside of that, I mean, technically, he looks absolutely terrific. If we look at where he's played during his career, he was playing for Southend last season in the Vanarama National League, but he's played a lot of League 1 and League 2. Clubs like AFC Wimbledon, Bradford City, Oxford. He is a player with a lot of pedigree. He is, yeah, because of his age, he's starting to fall off a bit physically, but mentally he's fantastic. Technically, he is brilliant. I think he's a really good signing to come in for the end of the season to help us with an end of season push. And I don't know, maybe he could be a decent member of the squad for next season as well. I'm leaving him on the bench for today because he is pretty tired. He's been playing a lot of games. I've been trying to get his fitness up, but expect him to come on against Barnet today, hopefully to make a difference if we need him to. The rest of the team we're playing with is Sam Blair in goal. I think with the run that we're on, we might have to think about changing up the goalkeeper. But for now, he'll keep his place. Jay Williams at right back. Bailey Clements at left back. Again, I might change this. Bailey Clements' technicals have completely fallen off a cliff. And, I mean, he's not really been playing that well either. He's got a 6.56 rating in his last 5 games. Mentally, he's great. Physically and technically, I just don't think he's a Vanarama National League player anymore. When we bought him, he had League Two quality. He had a number of teams from League Two that were sniffing around, but as is the case with all our players over the years, he has just kind of dropped off. And so I think I'm going to put Nick Radcliffe in at left back for this game. Yeah, the problem with our team now, we've kind of had the same base of the squad for 3 years now. With the fact that we don't do enough training, all of them have just slowly dropped off. Bailey Clements just is not of a National League standard anymore for me. Jack Earing has really dropped off technically. I think I'm going to let him leave in the summer. We've then got Jay Williams, who's kind of in the same boat. Gabadebo, I think, is not quite good enough to be a starter if we want to challenge for promotion. Max Waltman has kind of gradually dropped off. Yeah, I mean, it is just, I think in the summer we are going to need a major rebuild. I think this summer, I'm going to have to choose carefully who we offer a new contract, who we keep on. It'll also depend on if we make the playoffs and if there is an outside chance that we could fluke promotion as well. I think this entire squad, I would be very doubtful if it has enough to survive in League Two. So yeah, I think in the summer I've just got to get through to the summer there, and we've got to look at who's good enough to stick around, who needs to be changed. Joe Hardy, he's another one. Obviously, we had high hopes for him when he came in. He's done okay. 12 in 29 in all competitions, 11 in 25 in the league. He's done okay, just hasn't been quite consistent enough. But if you look at the team we've got for today, so Sam Blair in goal, Jay Williams and Nick Radcliffe playing at left back. Gabadebo and George Ray will be the centre backs. They are easily our best 2 centre backs. Nick Radcliffe, by the way, he wants to leave. He's stated he's going to leave on a free transfer at the end of the season because he hasn't been playing enough. I'm going to see if I can turn that around by playing him through to the end of the season. But he's not happy with me because I promised him a loan move. Nobody wanted to loan him because they didn't want to pay his wages. And so he got upset that I hadn't completed my promise to get him a loan. And you can see teams like Notts County, Tranmere and Telford are already interested in taking him. I've got to see if we can save that deal, but probably not. Unfortunately, Jack Brown, who has obviously come all the way up through the leagues with us, he has also decided he wants to leave at the end of the season. He is not talking to me. Again, I promised him a move. I offered him out. I've got to be honest, I wasn't going to let him go for nothing. I offered him out for £2,500 on a friendly. Nobody offered. And then, again, he decided that I had not come through on my promise. So, yeah, a little bit drama there. And then you can see all the green names here. These are youngsters that are being released from Premier League clubs. 1 or 2 of them might be interesting. We'll see if we end up signing any of them. But anyway, back to the team for today. Jack Earing, like I say, he's kind of dropping off. I think Butcher is now a better option in the midfield. But for today, Jack Earing is going to start with Isaac Smith. Joe Hardy and Thomas Hughes will play right and left. Joe Hardy has just been on better form than Max Waltman, who's kind of dropped off in the last few weeks in this poor run of games. So I'm going to stick with Joe Hardy there. Liam Gibbs in the number 10 role, the non-league Iniesta, and James Price, our top scorer, up front. James Price, just to give him a little shout. Yeah, he is kind of making himself look like a Vanarama National League striker now. Yeah, I know we've already looked at him, but just to make the point, I think he's definitely got the base of a very good little striker there. It's just such a shame that we cannot develop his talent with full-time training. On the bench for today, we're going to have Lee Brown, Matt Butcher, Jake Reeves, our new midfielder, who I think can really help us through to the end of the season, hopefully. And then Max Waltman and Ronan Curtis completing the bench. I've got to see what happens. I think with this poor run, it has kind of shown me that, yeah, the squad is not really up to the level to be competing at the top of the Vanarama National League. We haven't been able to strengthen through the season. And I'm kind of thinking we might need another formation change. Like in our second season in the Southern League, we played that 4-3-1-2. I think we might need something similar. I think that might be necessary because this 4-2-3-1 is really not working anymore. We concede a lot of goals. We don't really look dangerous enough when we do have it. I think the wingers, a little bit like when we were in the Southern League, we didn't have wingers that were really good enough to justify playing with wingers. And I think we might have reached that stage now. So that's something to look at as we go down the line. So, so here we are at home against Barnet. Cheltenham, if they win their game in hand, can go above us and knock us out of the playoff places. So really important we get a win today because they're away to Bromley. If we win and they lose away at Bromley, we can open up a 6-point lead over them and they have a game in hand. And we then go away to Bromley in the next game. So we kind of need that cushion. So that's the other result that we're going to be kind of keeping an eye on. Notts County are also sniffing around there, who we are going to play soon. They're away at Gateshead, who are bottom of the league. So you would expect them to win. So I think there's a lot of pressure on us to have a good performance today, get the victory we need. Like I say, otherwise I feel like we are kind of looking at an early finish to our season. So I'm going to submit the team there and then we'll just look at a couple of tactical tweaks possibly. I'm kind of wondering if I want to knock the number 10 back into midfield, play Gibbs as maybe a deep line playmaker, and then play with a defensive midfielder. I'm undecided. I think I'm gonna start with the formation probably as it is, and we're gonna look at how it goes. Let's cancel that. I don't want to go straight in yet. So actually, look, Barnet are on a really poor run apparently. I had no idea. I mean, that shows you how poor we have been. The fact that they are 21st in the form table, and they are still only a couple of points behind us in the table. So, I mean, this game is so important in terms of turning our form around, but also just doing damage to Barnet's playoff hopes. Perhaps looking at that form table, Cheltenham are actually now the team we need to be most worried about. So they're playing a 4-4-2. Let's hope that we can control the midfield. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to keep with my attacking setup for the moment. We might look to play to work the ball into the box just to create some better goal scoring chances, and I'm going to play out to the fullbacks. And do you know what? I'm actually going to play out of defence. I want to see if having a little bit more control playing out from defence can maybe help us not to concede so many goals, maybe help us not to be so open on the counter attack. Okay, so I guess this means this is a televised game. The fact that we've got a little bit of a press conference before we start. So I'm actually gonna. Oh, I can't send it over to my assistant now because I've already answered a question. Um, will the first goal be crucial? Yeah, it probably will. Do you hope the team can produce? No, I don't. I mean, come on, that's a silly question, isn't it? There you go. I know what we're capable of. All right, so televised game. I think we get £5,000 for it, which is very good. Our finances have been very good this season. I think we're about 130,000 up for the season. And yeah, you can see Barnet are on horrible form. I mean, that really means this is a huge, huge game. So important for us to get something out of this now, isn't it? So the game just now takes on a different level. Yeah, I think looking at this, I think Cheltenham really are now the team to worry about. So important that we get a good performance and a win here today. But they've got the first highlight, 21st in the form table. And they start out causing us some problems. Hardy, who is a little bit tired, will probably need taking off before the end of the game. Clearing that ball away. I mean, we're having to really get stuck in at the back here to stop them creating anything. Can we now, playing out here, can we now start to take a bit of a foothold in this game? Hughes looking for Earring, heads it down to Price and just wide. It was a decent effort. The first real chance of the game. But we're going to need more than that. And Barnet have already had more shots than us. And we've got to try and pick this up. This is not good enough right now, is it? Actually, I want to check something. I think I'm just going to pause there because I think with Reeves coming into the team, yeah, I made Reeves a deep line playmaker. So we've actually got Smith here playing as a deep line playmaker when really he should be a ball winning midfielder. So let's change that up and hopefully that'll just help the function of the team. As Price hits the bar from range, a really good effort. We really need him to come up with something here today. Do I want to work the ball into the box? We've had more shots again, but only 2 on target. Keep an eye on that. Hughes now back to Radcliffe. He puts it in and James Price is there. His 12th league goal of the season. And that could be absolutely huge. If Cheltenham lose their game today against Barnet, that gives us a real advantage. Great header from Price. And he has really stepped up in the second half of the season. While the team has been flailing, Price has just grown into the Vanarama National League. Can Hardy now get a crossover? He can. And that was very nearly 2 there. Is this highlight going to continue? It's not. We are still in control. I'm going to praise the players. Just get the morale up. And Hardy is already extremely tired. And with Bromley away in just a few days' time, I think I might need to make that change of Curtis or Waltman for Hardy here. But let's tell the players we're pleased. I think with the run we're on, I'm going all out just to try and build the players up. Let's get Joe Hardy off. Do I bring on Waltman or Ronan Curtis? I think I'm going to bring on Waltman. He hasn't been on great form, but he is the most natural of options there. So let's hope he can have a solid second half. And let's see if we can just get through to full time and get these 3 points here. It's going to be so important. So we've got the ball again, just coming out of our own half. Smith into Earring. Earring, great ball in for Price. Can he finish? He can't. It's palmed away, but we have got the ball back and the highlight continues. Gibbs linking nicely there. Waltman to Earring. Price into Waltman. looking for that ball through. Smith out to Williams, gets the cross in. Can Hughes put it into the box? He can. And Gibbs couldn't get his shot away, just blocked out there. Let's praise the team again. And what other changes do I want to make here? Thinking about the Bromley game. I really want a full strength team for the Bromley game. It's really important that we try and get something out of that. As Price gets put in again, it's 2-0. And we are now looking comfortable here for the 3 points. And that's a really nice goal. Smith into Earing, Earing to Gibbs, and the non-league Iniesta sets up James Price for goal number 20 of the season. Great performance from him today. Lovely assist. Alright, let's look at which players we want to rest here. Let's just pause the game. I think I'm certainly going to rest James Price. I want him to be fully fit and firing. So Ronan Curtis can come in as the striker to finish the game. He can play that role. And I think the other change I'm going to make, Jack Earing's very tired, Nick Radcliffe's very tired. I think I'm going to change Gabadebo. I'm going to bring on Butcher in the midfield. And I'm going to move Isaac Smith back there. So Butcher comes on as the defensive midfielder. Actually, I didn't change it. I thought I changed it there. There you go. So let's actually just keep him as a defending deep line playmaker then. That's fine. Jack Earing will not be able to play next game. Nick Radcliffe might not be able to. And Liam Gibbs might be struggling. But let's finish here. Let's get these 3 points wrapped up. And then we'll look at the next game when it comes along. It's really been the story of our second half of the season as they get one back instantly. That is very disappointing. To be so comfortable in the game and then straight away give one up on a set piece. Come on, boys, we've really got to get a grip now. Come on, guys. No, another free kick. I do not want to give any more away here. Come on, guys, we've controlled this for the majority of the game, and now we're at 6s and 7s. Great save, Blair. I'm going to have to make some changes, I think, tactically. I think our assistant is recommending it, and we've still not got this away. Flanagan will get it in, surely. He goes out to Dyer on the edge. Thank goodness to see that highlights just pause there. I am going to stop playing out of defence and I'm going to take off the overlaps. And I'm just going to shoot on sight as well. What else do I want to do here? I'm going to hold shape. Let's slow everything down. And I'm just going to take back the line of engagement. And let's see if that is going to be enough to get us through to full time here. I want to start time wasting as well now that we're into the last 10 minutes. So let's do that as well. Full out time wasting. Let's just get these points wrapped up, guys. We cannot afford any drop points in games like this. It looks like we're going to get it, even though they've had 9 shots on target. It's a vital win. We still look suspect, but that is a really important result. Let's tell the players that was an excellent win. Again, just try and build them up before the next game. And how did Cheltenham do at home against Bromley? I'll send my assistant to do the end of game press conference. And Cheltenham are still on 60 points. So they have actually not played, have they? Are they playing later today? Was that an early game as it was on TV? I think they must be playing now. So let's just have a look at their result, and then we will leave part 1 of today's episode there, and we will go forward to part 2 to see the Bromley game. Let's have a look. How did Cheltenham and Bromley? They finished 0-0. So they've ended up with 1 point. We have moved 5 points clear of them, but they do have that game in hand. And of course, we're playing Bromley next. So, in theory, if they win their next game, they go 2 points behind us. If we were to lose to Bromley, they could then leapfrog us into first place, or into seventh place and the final playoff place. Notts County are 3 behind us now, and we've given ourselves a 5-point cushion on Barnet as well. It's a really, really tight race for that final playoff spot, and we are not the form team. So I'm going to leave it there. Click on the link for part 2 of this episode to see how we get on against Bromley. I don't know what to say. I really hope we can do it, but I've just got such little confidence at the moment. But let's see how we get on. Maybe a great performance and a good result against Bromley could really launch our final push to end the season and help us get in there. Click on the link for part 2 to see how we get on. If you've enjoyed this episode, give it a like as well. See you very shortly when you click that link.